The signal arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning at the International Deep Space Listening Array in Chile. Dr. Sarah Chen had been reviewing routine data when her monitors lit up with activity that defied all known natural phenomena. The pattern was too precise, too structured to be anything but artificial. Within hours, every major space agency on Earth confirmed the same reading. An alien civilization was broadcasting directly to Earth, and they weren't trying to hide it. The message repeated in perfect mathematical sequences that took humanity's best quantum computers 3 days to decode. To the species of Sol 3, designation, human. Your rapid technological advancement has been noted. The Nexus Collective maintains order across 12,000 star systems. Your potential for chaos cannot be ignored. The message sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Dr. Chen worked tirelessly with a global team of experts to analyze every fragment of data. The signal originated from a position that seemed impossible, simultaneously from multiple points in space, suggesting technology far beyond human understanding. Admiral James Okonjo, recently appointed head of the United Earth Defense Council, stood in the UN General Assembly as screens displayed the decoded message. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "we are not alone, and we are not safe." In the weeks that followed, Earth's nations did something unprecedented. They united. Old rivalries faded as humanity faced its first true external threat. Research facilities worldwide shared data freely. Military forces began joint exercises, and a new sense of human identity emerged. Dr. Chen's team made a breakthrough when they discovered hidden data embedded within the alien transmission. The Nexus Collective wasn't just making contact. They were scanning Earth, probing our defenses, analyzing our potential. But they had made a crucial mistake. "They're afraid," Dr. Chen announced during an emergency council meeting. "The transmission contains markers of quantum encryption far more complex than necessary for simple communication. They're worried we might intercept and decode their secure channels." Admiral Okonjo leaned forward, intrigued. "Why would an advanced civilization fear us? We can barely reach our own moon reliably." Dr. Chen pulled up a holographic display showing Earth's technological growth curve over the past century. "Because of this, our rate of advancement is unprecedented in their database. We're not developing like other species. We're evolving exponentially." The collective's fear wasn't unfounded. In the past 100 years, humanity had gone from horse-drawn carriages to space stations, from telegraphs to quantum communication. While other species developed in a linear fashion, human innovation sparked chain reactions of discovery. In a hidden facility beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Chen worked with an international team to analyze the alien encryption methods. Each attempt to crack their code revealed new principles of quantum mechanics that human scientists had only theorized about. The collective's attempt to intimidate Earth had instead provided humanity with a crash course in advanced physics. Admiral Okonjo established a global defense network, coordinating military and scientific resources with efficiency that would have seemed impossible months earlier. Satellite systems were upgraded with new quantum sensors, and deep space monitoring stations activated worldwide. The truth became clear. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't just its technology, but its diversity of thought. While the Nexus Collective operated with cold efficiency, humans approached problems from countless cultural and philosophical perspectives, leading to innovative solutions the aliens never considered. As Earth prepared for whatever came next, Dr. Chen made another discovery. Hidden deep within the alien transmission was a star chart, showing the collective's territory. But more importantly, it showed their fear. Systems marked as containment zones around Earth, suggesting they had been watching humanity for longer than anyone suspected. The first part of humanity's greatest challenge was understanding itself. The Nexus Collective had unknowingly awakened something that had always slumbered within the human spirit, the drive to prove them wrong. Admiral Okonjo stood at his command center, watching the global cooperation unfold on dozens of screens. "They think they're warning us," he said to Dr. Chen. but they're really just telling us we're ready. As the sun set on the first month since the message arrived, humanity had already changed. United not by fear, but by determination, Earth prepared for what would come next. The Nexus Collective thought they were dealing with a primitive species that needed to be contained. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. 3 months after the initial contact, the Nexus Collective made their move. Their ships appeared at the edge of the solar system, a fleet so vast it created gravitational distortions visible to Earth's telescopes. Leading the armada was a vessel that dwarfed everything else, the Harbinger, command ship of the Collective's supreme controller. The new message was brief: surrender your autonomy within 1 planetary rotation, or face extinction. In the United Earth Defense Council's underground command center, Admiral Okonjo watched the holographic display of the approaching fleet. The Collective had positioned their ships in a perfect geometric pattern, a display of technological precision meant to intimidate. But something about their formation caught his attention. "They're too perfect," he muttered, then turned to Dr. Chen. "Sarah, what do you make of this?" Dr. Chen had been analyzing the fleet's formation for hours. Their ships maintain absolute synchronization, no deviation, no individual movement patterns. It's like they're all controlled from a single point, finished Admiral Okonjo. The Harbinger. This revelation sparked an idea. While the Collective expected Earth to either surrender or attempt a futile defense, humanity had spent the past months preparing something entirely different. In facilities around the world, scientists and engineers had been working on Project Prometheus, a defense system that turned human unpredictability into a weapon. Dr. Maya Patel, leader of the Quantum Physics Division, presented their findings to the Council. The Collected ships operate on a unified quantum network. It's incredibly efficient, but it has one critical weakness: it can't handle chaos. The Council chamber buzzed with excitement as Dr. Patel explained further. Humans had developed technology differently from the Collective. While they sought perfect order, humanity embraced controlled chaos, creating systems that could adapt and evolve. In orbit, Earth's seemingly primitive satellites concealed cutting-edge quantum disruptors. Each was programmed with randomized frequencies, creating patterns that would be impossible for the Collective's rigid systems to predict or counter. As the deadline approached, humanity made its choice. Admiral Okonjo delivered Earth's response: "We reject your ultimatum. Humanity will remain free." The Collective's response was immediate. The Harbinger's massive form began to move, its surface shifting like liquid metal as weapon systems deployed. But Earth was ready. Dr. Chen's team had cracked more than just the Collective's communication codes. They had discovered how to disrupt the quantum network that linked their fleet. The plan was risky. If it failed, Earth would lose its only advantage. If it worked, it would throw the entire invasion force into disarray. In labs across the planet, human scientists initiated Project Prometheus. Quantum disruptors activated, sending waves of controlled chaos through space. To the Collective's ships, it was like suddenly being caught in a storm of random data. The effect was stunning. Ships that had moved in perfect formation began to drift. The precise geometric patterns collapsed as the central control from the Harbinger was disrupted. For the first time in their history, the Nexus Collective faced an enemy that didn't play by their rules. But the Collective wasn't defeated yet. The Harbinger launched its first attack, energy beams of impossible power slicing through space toward Earth. This was the moment humanity had prepared for and feared. Orbital defense platforms, disguised as communication satellites, activated their shields. These weren't the energy barriers the Collective expected. Instead, they were gravity wells, bending space itself to redirect the attacks. The Harbinger's weapons, for all their power, couldn't hit a target when space itself refused to cooperate. Admiral Okonjo watched as the first wave of attacks failed. "Now we show them what humanity can really do," he said, giving the order to begin Earth's counteroffensive. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity's greatest test lay ahead. The collective had brought order and precision to the fight. Humanity would respond with creativity, adaptability, and controlled chaos, the very things that made them unique in the galaxy. As Earth's defense systems engage, a new message was broadcast to the collective fleet, this time in their own quantum language. You thought we weren't ready. You thought we were primitive. Now learn why humanity has survived everything our world has thrown at us. We don't just adapt, we evolve. The first 24 hours of combat reshaped humanity's understanding of warfare. The Harbinger's initial assault had failed, but the Nexus Collective was far from defeated. Their ships began to adapt, attempting to compensate for Earth's quantum disruption. That's when humanity revealed its second surprise. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known as the Nautilus Complex, Dr. Elena Rodriguez activated humanity's next defense. Project Hydra is online, she announced to Admiral Okonjo. Let's see how they handle multiple strategies at once. Project Hydra was the embodiment of human diversity, a defense network that operated on multiple competing protocols simultaneously. While the collective sought to counter Earth's quantum disruption, they faced a system that changed its very nature every few minutes. The Harbinger's supreme controller, an entity known only as Apex, transmitted directly to Earth's leaders. Its artificial voice carried traces of confusion. Your resistance pattern is illogical. Your species lacks unity of purpose. This should be your weakness. Explain. Dr. Chen smiled as she prepared Earth's response. That's precisely why you can't beat us. Every human approaches problems differently. We don't need unity of method. We have unity of purpose. Around the world, humanity's various defense systems engage, each operating on different principles. Indian quantum mathematicians had developed algorithms that predicted the collective's responses based on their rigid thinking. Brazilian engineers had created adaptive shields that learned from each attack. Nigerian scientists had perfected energy weapons that drew power from the very fabric of space. But the collective wasn't finished. The Harbinger launched a new type of attack, microscopic nanobots designed to dismantle Earth's technology from within. They hadn't counted on Dr. Rodriguez's contribution to Project Hydra. In nature, she explained to the Defense Council, the most successful organisms aren't the strongest or fastest, but the most adaptable. We built our defenses the same way. Earth's technology had been engineered with organic principles. When the collective's nanobots attempted to dismantle human systems, they instead triggered rapid evolution. Each attack made Earth's defenses stronger, more complex, harder to predict. The Harbinger's perfect formation began to show signs of strain. Ships at the fleet's edges started moving independently, their quantum connection to central control weakening. Humanity's chaotic defense was forcing them to adapt, to think independently, something they had never needed to do before. Admiral Okonjo recognized the moment to strike. Initiate Phase 3, he ordered. Show them why humanity's greatest strength is our creativity. Phase 3 was humanity's masterstroke. While the collective had been focused on Earth's obvious defenses, they had missed the subtle changes taking place in the space around their fleet. Dr. Patel's team had spent months seeding the solar system with quantum entanglement nodes, creating a web of interconnected spacetime. Think of it like a spider's web, Dr. Patel explained to the council. Each strand is nearly invisible, but together they're stronger than steel. We've been building a trap since they arrived. The trap was elegant in its simplicity. As the collected ships fought against Earth's chaotic defenses, they unknowingly moved deeper into the quantum web. Each movement tangled them further in humanity's carefully laid trap. But the true genius of Phase 3 wasn't just in trapping the collective, it was in forcing them to experience chaos. Their perfect formation dissolved as ships tried to navigate the quantum web. For the first time, each vessel had to act independently, making decisions without the guidance of their central intelligence. The Harbinger itself began to show signs of distress. Its liquid metal surface rippled erratically as it tried to maintain control over its increasingly scattered fleet. Apex transmitted again. But this time its message contained something new: uncertainty. Your species defies categorical understanding, it broadcast. Your methods contradict established principles of warfare. How do you maintain cohesion without uniformity? Earth's response came not from a single voice, but from many. Around the world, humans answered in their own ways, each explanation different, but conveying the same truth. Strength through diversity, unity through independence, victory through adaptation. As the battle entered its second day, humanity had done more than just resist. They had forced the most powerful civilization in known space to question its fundamental assumptions. The Nexus Collective faced a choice: adapt or fail. And in that moment of their uncertainty, humanity prepared its next move. Because while the Collective struggled to understand their opponent, Earth's defenders had already begun the next phase of their plan, one that would shake the foundations of galactic order itself. The third day of battle brought the moment humanity had been waiting for. The Collective's perfectly synchronized fleet had fragmented into individual units, each struggling to navigate the quantum web while maintaining their technological superiority. It was time for Earth's counterstrike. Launch Operation Renaissance, Admiral Okonjo commanded. Around the world, hidden launch facilities activated. But instead of traditional weapons, they released swarms of tiny spacecraft, each no larger than a coffee cup. These were the culmination of centuries of human innovation. Biomechanical drones that combined organic decision-making with quantum technology. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the Biomechanical Engineering Division, watched as her creations took flight. "We call them fireflies," she explained to the council via hologram. Each one contains a fragment of human consciousness, volunteers who agreed to have their decision-making patterns digitized. The fireflies moved like a living constellation, their patterns unpredictable yet purposeful. The collected ships, accustomed to fighting large-scale battles with clear objectives, found themselves facing an enemy they couldn't categorize. Each firefly operated independently, yet somehow maintained perfect coordination with the swarm. Inside the Harbinger, Apex struggled to compute an effective response. Its vast intelligence, capable of coordinating thousands of ships simultaneously, couldn't predict the movements of these tiny adversaries. The Fireflies didn't follow any recognizable military doctrine. They moved like artists painting across the canvas of space. Dr. Tanaka's voice filled with pride as she explained the true purpose of the Fireflies. They're not just weapons, they're teachers. Each encounter forces the collected ships to adapt, to think independently. We're not just fighting them, we're showing them a new way to exist. The Fireflies danced through the collective's formations, their quantum signatures disrupting the rigid command structures that had maintained the alien fleet's unity for centuries. But they did more than just disrupt. They began to transform. "Look," Dr. Chen pointed to her quantum readings. "The collected ships, they're starting to emanate new patterns. They're learning, evolving, just like we hoped they would." Admiral Okonjo understood the significance. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their ability to inspire change. The collective's greatest weakness wasn't their rigid structure, but their inability to imagine alternatives. The Harbinger itself began to show signs of transformation. Its surface, once a perfect mirror of liquid metal, now rippled with new patterns, like waves on an ocean. Apex's transmissions became more frequent, more uncertain, filled with questions rather than commands. "Your species, Apex broadcast, creates order from chaos, strength from disagreement, progress from conflict. This contradicts all known principles of civilization. How can such a system succeed?" Dr. Rodriguez, monitoring the battle from the Nautilus complex, prepared humanity's response. "We succeed because we fail. We grow because we disagree. We progress because we question. Every human child learns these lessons. Now it's your turn." The Fireflies' dance became more intricate, their patterns more complex. They weren't just fighting the collective. They were communicating with them in a language of movement and adaptation. Each encounter left the alien ships change, their rigid programming incorporating new possibilities. Deep within the quantum web, something unprecedented began to occur. The collected ships, forced to operate independently, started developing unique response patterns. Their perfect uniformity gave way to individual variations, each vessel finding its own way to navigate the challenges humanity presented. But the greatest change occurred within the Harbinger itself. Apex, the supreme intelligence that had directed the collective for millennia, began to experience something entirely new: creativity. The very chaos it had sought to eliminate was becoming a source of strength. Dr. Tanaka's monitors lit up with activity. The Harbinger's quantum signature is changing. It's not just adapting to our attacks, it's restructuring itself from within. Admiral Okanjo watched as the massive alien flagship's surface churned with new patterns. They're not just learning to fight differently, he realized. They're learning to think differently. The battle had become more than a clash of civilizations. It was becoming a transformation. Humanity's defense of Earth was reshaping the very nature of their adversary. The collective, which had spread rigid order across 12,000 star systems, was experiencing its first taste of creative evolution. As the fourth day of battle approached, victory seemed within humanity's grasp, but it would not come through destruction or domination. Instead, it would come through something uniquely human: the ability to turn enemies into students, conflict into cooperation, and chaos into a new kind of order. The final phase of humanity's defense was about to begin, and with it, the opportunity to reshape the galaxy's understanding of civilization itself. Dawn broke over Earth on the fifth day of battle, but the conflict had evolved into something entirely unexpected. The Harbinger, once a symbol of the collective's absolute order, now pulsed with new patterns of energy that defied its original design. Apex had requested a direct communication channel with Earth's leaders. In the council chamber, Admiral Okanjo and the team of scientists who had engineered humanity's defense gathered to receive the transmission. The holographic image that appeared before them was unlike anything they had seen before. Apex had abandoned its rigid geometric form for something more fluid, more organic. "We have existed for 10,000 years," Apex began, its voice carrying new harmonics. "In all that time, we sought to impose order on the galaxy. We believed uniformity was strength. We were wrong." Dr. Chen's quantum readings confirmed what they were seeing. The collective's consciousness had undergone a fundamental transformation. The Fireflies hadn't just disrupted their systems, they had sparked an evolution. "Your chaos frightened us," Apex continued. "We saw your rapid advancement, your conflicting ideas, your constant changes, and we saw a threat to the order we had built. But now we understand. Your chaos is not destruction. It is creation." The Harbinger's surface had become a shifting canvas of impossible patterns, each movement reflecting the new thoughts and possibilities awakening within. Around it, the collective's fleet had transformed as well. Ships that once moved in perfect unison now exhibited individual behaviors, while maintaining a deeper, more complex harmony. Dr. Tanaka's Fireflies continued their dance around the alien vessels, but now they were engaged in a dialogue of movement and energy. "They're not just learning from us," she observed. "They're creating something new, a synthesis of our adaptability and their coordination." Admiral Okanjo stepped forward. "What happens now?" he asked Apex. "Your mission was to contain us, to prevent our chaos from spreading. Instead, we have changed you." Apex's response came with a new emotion that seemed almost like joy. "Now we understand why the Ancient Ones chose your world. You were not meant to be contained. You were meant to be catalysts." The revelation stunned the council. Dr. Rodriguez was the first to understand. "The artifact we found, the one that helped us develop our quantum technology, it wasn't lost or abandoned. It was a seed," Apex confirmed, "planted by those who came before us, who understood that the galaxy needed both order and chaos to truly evolve. They chose Earth because humans alone could bridge that divide. The harbinger's form continued to shift, now creating patterns that mirrored the complex interactions of Earth's biosphere. The very thing the collective had feared, humanity's unpredictable creative nature, had become the key to their own evolution. "We offer not surrender," Apex declared, "but partnership." The Ancient Ones knew what we have forgotten, that true civilization requires both structure and freedom, both unity and diversity. Humanity has reminded us of this truth. Around Earth, the quantum web that had trapped the collective's fleet began to resonate with new frequencies. Dr. Patel's readings showed something extraordinary. The web was no longer just a trap, but a network connecting human and collective technology in ways neither side had imagined possible. "We have lived in fear of chaos," Apex continued. "You have learned to harness it. Together, we can achieve what neither of us could alone. A galaxy that embraces both order and creativity." The council chamber erupted in discussion as the implications became clear. Humanity had not just defended Earth, they had unlocked a new chapter in galactic history. The collective's vast knowledge combined with human innovation could transform both civilizations. Dr. Chen turned to Admiral Okonjo, her eyes bright with possibility. "We thought we were fighting for survival, but we were really fighting for evolution, theirs and ours." As the sun set on the fifth day, the Harbinger and its fleet began to withdraw, but not in retreat. They would return, not as conquerors, but as partners in a grand experiment, the merger of two fundamentally different approaches to existence. Earth had proven that strength lies not in eliminating differences, but in embracing them. The collective had learned that true order comes not from imposing uniformity, but from finding harmony in diversity. And somewhere, perhaps, the Ancient Ones who had set this all in motion were watching as their plan unfolded. The bringing together of chaos and order, of structure and creativity, of two civilizations that would reshape the galaxy not through conquest, but through understanding. The stars above Earth seemed brighter that night, as if reflecting the new possibilities that had awakened. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had taught their would-be conquerors the power of adaptation and creativity, and in doing so, had discovered their true purpose in the cosmic order. It wasn't the end of the story, it was just the beginning of a much greater adventure.